You want to know what spice tastes like?
Spice.
I'm only taking yes as an answer. So good, you're in the right place. It's time to make our last Dune cocktail, Spice and Stillsuits. If you've ever wanted to drink neon blue worm juice that's basically just rum and ginger beer, or a sweet minty cocktail that tastes like roses, then check out the previous videos I've done in my Dune cocktail series on the water of life and the Arrakis julep. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you can keep up with future episodes. Now go get your ingredients. So for this one, I wanted to create a cocktail that was reminiscent of what spice is supposed to taste like, which anybody with Google will tell you tastes like a bitter cinnamon. And that's exactly what this is, all in the form of a Negroni riff.
Fancy.
All right, we'll start off with our cinnamon liqueur. I generally find that all cinnamon liqueurs taste basically the same. I have no jigger. Need that. So if you got Fireball, then use it. But I've got Goldschlager, which, fun fact, actually contains about $4 worth of gold leaf, so you can feel fancy when you're going to the bathroom later. And we're gonna do a very small amount of this. It's very strong, so we're just gonna do about a quarter ounce to a bar spoon. And from here, it's just all 1 ounce pours. We're gonna start off with our 1 ounce of vermouth. Then we'll do 1 ounce of cynar. If you've never heard of cynar, it's a bitter Italian Amaro, and it's made using artichokes. But I'll be honest, I don't really taste the artichokes in it. It mostly just tastes herbal and bitter. Dark and bitter. Cynar is brooding. And then we'll finish off with 1 ounce of London dry gin. I wish I had a different gin, but I have Ryan Reynolds flavored gin. Tastes just like him, it's crazy. Now I probably should have said this earlier, but by this point, it should be abundantly clear to you, oh, that ice is so cold on my hand, that this is a stirred cocktail, not a shaken one. So we're gonna break up some ice, and then we'll just stir until the outside of our mixing glass gets nice and cold. Stir as long as you need to. Odds are you are not gonna overstir your drink, even if you're just using fridge ice. And last, we're going to grab our glass, put some fresh ice in it, and just strain this over our fresh ice. And then we'll finish off by pulling a twist of orange. Rub it around the rim. We'll actually make this look pretty. Make it a little parallelogram. There's our beautified twist. Get it right, snake it into the glass. And we got Spice and Stillsuits. Ooh, I already get so much of that orange and cinnamon on the nose. It's such a nice, warm spice smell. Oh, that's really tasty. And I don't even like cinnamon liqueur. It's like a darker, sweeter Negroni. And because of that darkness, like cynar contributes much more darkness than the typical Negroni bitter, a Campari would. So that's why this cinnamon and the orange are so important here, because it really helps lift it up so it's not just all dark and muddy. Now I went pretty light on the cinnamon here because it does tend to just sort of take over, but you cinnamon lovers out there, I know who you are, and you might want a bigger pour of this. Not me though. I've had some bad times with some Fireball and a box of pizza. This would be great for anybody who loves like a very dark chocolate or a black coffee, and it's just a strong, bitter experience. But because of those stronger flavors, this might be a harder sell to the newbies out there, or those who are sensitive to stronger flavors, because this is a wallop. That being said, it is awesome, and I would rate it a dark night with some psychoactive spice out of 10. I think cynar is my favorite bitter liqueur. It's so good. I think it's fair to say that this one calls for a lot of liquor that most people probably don't have. Vermouth, maybe. Cynar, let's be real, you don't even know what that is. So I've tweaked the recipe to make this much more doable for you. Okay, are you done? You probably have at least one of these ingredients, and any that you don't, you can either get at the grocery store or pick up as a miniature. You don't even need to commit to an entire bottle. We don't need our vermouth or our mixing glass this time around. We're actually gonna build it straight in the glass. So grab our glass here, and then our replacement ingredients. We got some Jäger, Fireball, vodka, red wine, and then last here, just some simple syrup. You don't want to know what I'm about to do. Just like last time, we'll start with our bar spoon to 1/4 ounce of cinnamon liqueur. This time we're going Fireball in a nip, just as promised. And now this time I'm going to commit probably one of the biggest cocktail sins I've ever done, but I will do it for you. Instead of vermouth, we're gonna do 1 ounce of red wine, and then to add the sweetness that vermouth has, we'll do a 1/4 ounce of simple syrup. This definitely is still lacking a lot of components of vermouth, but you can do it. It's easy. And then instead of our cynar, we're gonna do a different herbal liqueur. We're gonna use Jäger, which hopefully you like and you haven't ruined from times in college. 1 ounce of Jäger. And then a decidedly more mellow base spirit, we're gonna do 1 ounce of vodka. It's just gin with less steps. Now we'll just load this up with some regular old fridge ice. Everybody's got that probably. Honestly, not me. Growing up, my fridge ice maker never worked. And then we'll just stir it down. You don't have to stir with a bar spoon either. You could stir with a regular old tablespoon. Not like a tablespoon measurement, but like, you know, the spoon you would eat at a table with. Now we need our twist, and you don't need a peeler to do that. You can always just grab your orange and cut a little coin. Take that coin and use it as your twist. Squeeze it over the top, rub it around the edges, and then just lay that nice little coin right on top, like a little hat, a little cocktail hat. And there you go, there's your easy mode, budget mode, Spice and Stillsuits cocktail. This one, out of all of my easy version cocktails, is the biggest stretch. So let's see how this turned out. Huh, that's not bad. If you like Jäger and you like red wine, you will like this. Definitely the first thing I would upgrade about this is the vermouth. The red wine and simple syrup doesn't cut it, and this is really hurting for a lot of the more complex and bright notes that a vermouth would bring. But that being said, this would still work great as like baby's first herbal cocktail. You know, in some ways this might actually be better for some people because the Jäger is so much less bitter than cynar. It's going to be much more approachable for kind of the group I was talking about before, the picky people, the sensitive to strong flavors. I wonder if I made the original cocktail and just subbed the cynar for Jäger, what would that taste like? I'm actually going to try that now. Oh God, I'm drooling. It's drooling good. What does that mean? I don't know, but it's good. All right, we are back with our, I guess it's an intermediate version. Yeah, this time I'm not gonna use the red wine and the simple syrup, but I'm also not gonna use my Antica vermouth. I'm gonna use probably the most accessible vermouth for anybody, Martini and Rossi. And then, like I said before, we'll be doing Jäger instead of cynar. Still keep the gin though. I'm gonna build in this wine glass because that's something that probably everybody has. And it also surprisingly accurately matches the elk, I guess that's an elk. I don't know what else that would be. Does it say? I can't read German. It matches the elk on the Jäger bottle. I don't know if you can see this, but it's there. So let's go ahead and get started. I am going to still use the Fireball here. Do a scant 1/4 ounce here. Hey, 1/4 ounce, why not? And then if I'm lucky, I'll actually finish off this Martini and Rossi vermouth and it will stop taking up space in my fridge. Just a regular old 1 ounce pour. Oh, that's the tiniest bit left, but I will not throw it away because I do not waste. We do not waste here in this house. Then 1 ounce of our Jäger. I got Jäger fingers, they're sticky. Add in Jäger. Just 1 ounce of gin. This time we are actually gonna go back to a big old block of ice and just break it up. And that'll do, so we'll just stir it down. Just to reiterate, the only difference here is I just subbed the ounce of cynar for 1 ounce of Jäger. Other than that, it's the same old Spice and Stillsuits that maybe you know and love, maybe you've never made before, maybe you're hearing about it for the first time. Either way, please make this. Let me know what you think. Tell me how you like it. Now we will pull our orange twist. We're gonna actually pull a twist this time, no coins. This one, I'm gonna be a rebel. I'm not gonna clean it up. We're just gonna have a regular old messy orange twist, which is good because I didn't pull this one the best. Look at the lack of symmetry there. Rub it around the rim, inside the glass, outside the glass. It's all good. Just get that orange flavor everywhere. And run it down into the glass. That's a horse, that's not an elk. I don't know what noise elks make. What am I doing? That's good. It's remarkably similar to the version that doesn't use vermouth at all. Now maybe that's because I'm using Martini and Rossi. All in all, it's still there and it's still kicking. And I love the beautiful iced tea color of this, that nice amber brown. The Jäger's still bringing it, it's just bringing something different. It's not super bitter. I mean, there's a little bit of bitterness, but it's mostly just sweet and herbal and licoricey. Licoricey, is that a word? I don't know. As with the previous one, if you like Jäger, you will like this. And I would even say you could probably even play with the ratios and cut down on the Jäger a little bit so it's not just punching you in the face with licorice. Still very good. Still love the orange. I've said good like 8 times because that's what this is. It's good. I really like this. That being said, tell nobody that I subbed vermouth for red wine and simple syrup. If you like this, I've also released a complete series you can check out where we make more Dune cocktails and dive into how AMC botched their original Dune cocktail while simultaneously making what has got to be the best popcorn bucket of all time. And how Dune stacks up against its predecessor, Dune 1984. Did you know there was a 1984 version of Dune? Well, you may wish you didn't because it is weird and wild.
I want to spit once on your head.
But with that, I will let you go, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.